welcome to 1111 at the Grotto. I'm Adam, and on behalf of all of us here, we're so thankful that you've decided to join us. Whether this is maybe your first time or you're coming back again, 1111 is a chance for us to demystify and unpack what church can look like. We start together singing a song of praise from the book of Psalms, which are poetry and songs written in gratitude to God, asking Him for the things that we need. And then we focus in on the gospel, which is the good news and the story of Jesus. From wheels up to wheels down, this never takes more than like 10, 15 minutes. So let's get started.
His saving power. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. Let's recognize that. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. Sing to the Lord a new song, for He has done wondrous deeds. His right hand is won victory for Him, His holy arm. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. The Lord has made known His salvation in the sight of the nations. He has revealed His justice. He has remembered His kindness and His faithfulness towards the house of Israel. The Lord has revealed. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. All the ends of the earth have seen the salvation by our God. Sing joyfully to the Lord, all you lands. Break into song, sing praise. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. Let's recognize that He's shown us. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power. The Lord has revealed to the nations His saving power.
One of the things that has been most difficult for me as a parent is teaching my kids how to express their gratitude or that they're thankful for something. I find that, I'm not going to speak for all kids, but specifically mine, have a really hard time saying thank you when somebody does something for them, especially something that's meaningful. Whether it's little things like opening and holding a door or big things like giving them a gift to show how much they care, it's really difficult for my kids to seem to say those words, to say thank you, to express their gratitude. And in today's gospel, Jesus is teaching us the importance of gratitude. It says this in the Gospel of Luke chapter 17, starting in verse 11. As Jesus continued his journey to Jerusalem, he traveled through Samaria and Galilee. As he was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. They stood at a distance from him and raised their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." And when he saw them, he said, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." As they were going, they were cleansed. And one of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice. And he fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed, were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Then he said to him, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." Jesus is trying to illustrate the importance of gratitude. Jesus is teaching his disciples about the importance of giving thanks, especially when somebody has given you such a tremendous gift. See, in Jesus' time, leprosy was an awful affliction. We don't talk about it that much nowadays, but in Jesus' culture, if you were afflicted with leprosy, you were forced to give up everything. You were forced out of your families, out of your community, forced out of your own town or village or city, and forced to live on the fringes. So bad to the point where if you needed anything and you were going to be around people, you would come through your town or the village or the city, and you'd have to announce yourself as unclean. And people would not have anything to do with you. They would go inside, they'd shut their doors, they'd board up their windows, or they would physically remove you from town. You are not welcome if you were a leper. And we see as he's heading towards Jerusalem, when he's entering the village, so he's not in the town yet, he's coming up. So these 10 lepers, these 10 men were outside of the village. They've obviously been kicked out. But they knew who Jesus was. And when they knew that he was coming, these 10 who were at the end of their rope decided to take this big leap of faith and ask Jesus for healing. But you notice they still follow the law and the prescription at the time. They weren't allowed to approach him physically or the crowd that was with him because they were still unclean. But they call out to him and they say, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." And immediately, Jesus grants their request. He says, "Go show yourself to the priests." And it says in the story that as they were going, they were cleansed. So it wasn't something that happened immediately. As they were walking away to go show themselves to the priests, they realized that they were cleansed. See, the only way to be able to reintegrate into Jewish society if you were a leper is to show yourselves to the temple priests, have them inspect you, and then they can declare you clean, and you can reintegrate into your community. So as they're going to do what Jesus said, all of them realized that they had been healed. Now, we don't really know whether or not they all went and did exactly what Jesus said, which is to go show themselves to the priest. But what we do know is out of this group of 10, only one of them, when they realized that they were healed, immediately came back. And it says that he threw himself at the feet of Jesus. He returned glorifying God in a loud voice and fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. And then there's this really important line where it says that he was a Samaritan. Remember, in Jesus' time, Samaritans were persona non grata. Jewish people in Jesus' time wanted nothing to do with Samaritans. So for this Samaritan to go to a rabbi and ask him for healing is wildly out of pocket. This is not something that a Samaritan would have done, and it's not something that the Jewish people would have wanted. And Jesus looks at everybody who's with him, and he says, "Look, 10 people were cleansed, weren't they? But how come only this foreigner is the one who came back to give thanks?" And then he says something really important. He says, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." So Jesus gave him something more than just his physical healing. He actually healed him from the inside out. He healed him from his soul. I think there's 3 really big takeaways when we talk about how we approach gratitude, especially when it comes to our relationship with God. First thing is, Jesus sees us and knows us. As he approaches the town, he sees those 10 sick lepers, and he knows immediately what their needs are. Even before they cried out, he knew. But Jesus sees us and knows us exactly what it is that we need in our inmost heart. The second thing that I noticed is that it's really easy to have faith during difficulty. I think we all do this. We all seem to pray when there's something that we need, when there's some sort of trouble that we need to get out of. We're all really good at asking God for things that we need, especially when things are difficult. When there's an illness, when our finances are in trouble, when we're struggling with things. It's really easy to remember God and ask Him for things during difficulty. But just like these 10 men, 9 of them, when they realized that they had been made whole, didn't come back. All of a sudden, the relationship wasn't important once they got what they wanted. That's us. And it's unfortunate, but sometimes we're selfish. We can be selfish with God. And Jesus isn't showing us this because He's trying to make us feel bad. Sometimes we need to take a good look in the mirror and see the things that we need to improve on, to see the ways that we can grow as people. So having faith, having a relationship with Jesus, isn't about just the difficult times. It's about all times. And the third really important thing that I see in this story, and hopefully you'll see it too, is that the healing isn't the important part. Jesus is. The Samaritan man, when he returns to give thanks, is glorifying God and praising Jesus and realizing that it wasn't the healing that he was truly seeking. It was Jesus himself. When we hear this, when we think about our need for gratitude, it's because we realize that we can't do it on our own. That we need something bigger than ourselves. We need to realize that it's not about the miracle or the coming through of prayers, but it is the everyday, all the time, in every circumstance relationship with Jesus that's the real gift. Gratitude shows us exactly where our blessings are. So together, let's try and be a people who truly exemplifies, and not to be pithy, an attitude of gratitude.
Hey, thanks again for joining us for 1111 at the Grotto. If you have any questions about the Grotto, 1111, or anything else, visit us online and connect with us at thegrotto.community.